Thank you, Chairman Fleming and members of the subcommittee. Thank you for the opportunity to testify regarding the future of the National Fish Hatchery System and the need for passage of H.R. 5026. I am extremely pleased to be joined today at this hearing by two witnesses from my home state of Arizona, Chairman Angus and Chairman Manziel. I really appreciate you both making the trip and looking forward to your testimonies. The Fish Hatchery Protection Act, H.R. 5026, will preserve propagation fish hatcheries and propagation programs within the National Fish Hatchery System and stipulates that only Congress can authorize the termination or significant alteration of such facilities or programs. In November 2013, the Fish and Wildlife Service released a Strategic Hatchery and Workforce Planning Report. With the release of this report, the administration arbitrarily changed the priorities for the 5 different promulgation programs, categories, and announced their intent to close propagation programs and possibly hatcheries throughout the nation in fiscal year 2015. The Fish and Wildlife Service is attempting to unilaterally turn over our national fish hatchery system into an endangered species recovery program. As a result of the November 2013 report, the top 2 propagation program categories, which direct funds toward species conservation, will receive almost all the funding from the hatchery system. Currently, there are at least 28 recreational fish hatchery promulgation programs on the service's hit list. Such actions will be particularly harmful, especially in light of the fact that our national fish hatchery system has already been reduced from approximately 140 hatcheries to 70 hatcheries. The bureaucratic decision to terminate recreational fishing propagation programs is extremely misguided, as several of the hatcheries affected were constructed more than 50 years ago for the sole purpose of offsetting the loss of native fisheries resulting from the construction of federal dams. This is the case for the Willow Beach National Fish Hatchery in my district, which was created to counter the negative impacts that resulted from the construction of the Hoover Dam. On November 24, 2013, the Willow Beach Hatchery was instructed by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to terminate its recreational fishing propagation program. The pathetic excuse used by the service for terminating the rainbow trout stocking program at the time was that the agency didn't have the $1.5 to $8.5 million to repair a broken water supply line and keep the trout stocking program going. Recent engineering reports indicate these estimates were a gross exaggeration and that the broken water supply line will only cost around $100,000 to fix. Such deceptive behavior by the Fish and Wildlife Service cannot be tolerated. Furthermore, altering the fundamental goals and purposes of the National Fish Hatchery System should not be done via executive fiat and without an official public comment and without approval from Congress. Unfortunately, the Fish and Wildlife Service either doesn't get it or simply wants to focus on their own misguided agenda. When asked on a Capitol Hill briefing on the subject whether he considered the $28 return to local economies for every dollar invested, the representative for the Fish and Wildlife Service stated, "It's not something that factors into their decision making." Really? Trout stocking propagation programs in Arkansas and Oklahoma are so successful that a recent economic analysis found that for every dollar from a fish hatchery operation budget spent, $95 was put back into the economy. Recreational fishing propagation and programs generate hundreds of thousands of dollars of private and public investment from non-federal entities. In 2011, recreational fishing supported nearly 365,000 jobs and contributed more than $70 billion to our economy. My bill provides economic certainty for local communities and is retroactive to November 1st, 2013, prior to the date when the Fish and Wildlife Service publicly announced their intent to terminate these important promulgation programs. This legislation will preserve jobs and ensure the continuation of vibrant recreation fishing economies throughout the nation. H.R. 5026 has bipartisan support, and currently co-sponsors of the bill include former Natural Resources Chairman Nick Rahal from West Virginia, Doug Collins from Georgia, Mike Mouchard from Maine, Rick Crawford to my right from Arkansas, Ann Kirkpatrick, a Democrat from Arizona, Phil Rowe from Tennessee, G.K. Butterfield from North Carolina, Kevin Kramer from North Dakota, Tim Griffin from Arkansas, and Joe Heck from Nevada. The bill has also been endorsed by the Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies, the American Sports Fishing Association, and Mojave Board of Supervisors. Trout Unlimited also has some nice things to say about this bill, and I'd like to submit their letter to the record at this time.
With no objection, so ordered.
My hope is that today's hearing will further strengthen the bipartisan effort to protect our national fish hatchery system and important promulgation programs. I appreciate the opportunity to discuss this important legislation, and with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.